Hi, this is Daniel DiTuro. Do you know your rights under the U.S. Constitution? In this video, I'll share a brief history of the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Congress, Article 2, the President, Article 3, the Judiciary, the Bill of Rights, and Cafeteria constitutional government. The U.S. Constitution, creating a central government, was ratified on June 21, 1788, 12 years after the Declaration of Independence. Before the Constitution, the 13 states ratified the Articles of Confederation in 1778. The Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union united 13 sovereign states into the United States of America. There was no federal government or president. The Confederacy was governed by a unicameral Congress. Each state had one vote and could send 2 to 7 members to Congress. While Congress determined the types of metals and value of coins, each state could mint their own. Within a few years after ratification, it was clear the Confederacy had several major weaknesses. If Spanish Florida invaded Georgia, would the other states come to its defense? Under the Common Defense Clause of Article 3, the answer is yes, but there was no guarantee they would. To strengthen the Union and provide for the common defense, there was a proposal to create a central government. There was strong opposition to giving power to a federal government. They pointed to European monarchies and how the same could happen in the U.S. After years of debate and numerous changes, the U.S. Constitution was ratified in 1788, and George Washington was elected its first president by electors of the 13 states. Like the Continental Congress and Articles of Confederation, the most powerful branch of government was Congress. Unlike the unicameral Congress of the Articles of Confederation, the Constitution created a bicameral Congress consisting of the House of Representatives and Senate. The people have always elected members of the House of Representatives. The authors of the Constitution envisioned the people electing and re-electing proven problem solvers, placing the good of the country before party or politics. Their 2-year term allowed the people to replace representatives who did otherwise. In 1788, the people were white men. Senators were chosen by state legislators to serve 6-year terms. The 17th Amendment, ratified April 8, 1913, gave the people the right to elect senators. Qualifications to be a member of the House and Senate are minimal. House members must be at least 25 years old, be a resident of their state, and a U.S. citizen. Senators must be at least 30 years old, a resident of their state, and a U.S. citizen. At the time the Constitution was ratified, the average life expectancy was 31 years. Congress, representing the people, was supposed to be the governing body of the United States. Over the decades, as Congress became more partisan and dysfunctional, congressional powers have been ceded to the president. That was never the intent of the authors of the Constitution. There are many reasons Congress has become dysfunctional. One reason is apathetic, partisan voters. The Constitution was written to form a more perfect union, not a perfect union. It gives the people the power to govern themselves for the common good. Listen carefully to political campaign promises. In most cases, they are hollow promises with no clear plan how to implement them. You cannot solve problems if you do not elect problem solvers. Electing people to Congress to simply oppose the other party creates, not solve problems. The president is considered to be the most powerful person in the free world. That was not the intent of the Founding Fathers. The president is the chief executive of the United States. A president's qualifications are 30 years old minimum and natural-born U.S. citizen. The president is commander-in-chief of the U.S. military and state militias when called into service. The president's primary duty is carrying out the will of Congress. Congress is supposed to enact laws protecting the people and country. The president's job is implementing those laws, providing Congress allocates the funds to do so. Article 3, creating the Supreme Court and other federal courts, is the shortest article defining the three branches of government. The Supreme Court has authority over all constitutional issues, deciding if acts of Congress, the President, and states are constitutional. As we've seen recently, legal issues are not black and white. There are conservative and liberal interpretations of the Constitution. Article 3 does not specify a justice's age, qualifications, or term of service. All federal judges serve during a term of good behavior. Good behavior means a judge can serve for life. Article 3 also does not specify the number of Supreme Court justices or that there be a Chief Justice. While the current number of justices is 9, Congress can increase or decrease that number. According to Article 3, Congress is supposed to select Supreme Court justices. Instead, Congress has ceded that power to the President. The current Supreme Court is taking the dangerous position that rights not specified in the Constitution are unconstitutional. The Founding Fathers wrote extensively about their fear of government limiting personal freedoms and liberties. The first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution, known as the Bill of Rights, were ratified on December 15, 1791. The First and Second Amendments usually get the most attention during elections. The First Amendment addressed several major concerns about infringing civil liberties. It states that Congress shall not establish a religion or prohibit the free exercise of any religion. Congress also cannot abridge free speech or press, and that the people have the right to peaceably assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. The First Amendment strengthened the power of the people over the government. The Second Amendment deals with the right to bear arms. Some claim the Second Amendment guarantees everyone the unconditional right to keep and bear arms. That right is not guaranteed by the Second Amendment. It states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Again, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. This clause has never been deleted or modified. Again, we have the word people. Slaves were denied the right to keep and bear arms because they were property, not people. Historically, people excludes women. Women couldn't vote until the 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920. The people, in 1788, were all white men. An amendment giving women equal rights was not ratified. Constitutionally, women have no right to keep and bear arms. John Adams believed every able-bodied man should be provided with arms, ammunition, and training to serve in their state militia and defend the United States. I wonder how many people would defend the right to keep and bear arms if it required mandatory National Guard service. The U.S. Constitution was meant to be a living document for a more perfect union. It was not meant to be a rigid 18th century document defending 18th century values. The Second Amendment is one example how politicians and judges interpret or misinterpret the Constitution for personal and political gain. The authors of the Constitution knew a republic by the people was a fragile form of government. In the history of the world, most people were ruled by monarchs and dictators. John Adams wrote that a representative assembly should be in miniature an exact portrait of the people at large. We know that that did not and still has not happened. Special interests, not the people, are dictating policy and their interpretation of constitutional rights. Charles Pinckney, a signer of the Constitution, defined the advantages of a republic as liberty, exemptions from needless restrictions, equal laws, public spirit, averseness to war, and frugality. He said the evils of a republic include dissensions, tumults, factions, attempts by ambitious citizens to possess power, and too often the imbecility of the laws. The authors of the Constitution envisioned a country cherishing and defending individual liberty. Individual liberty is at risk when a powerful minority overrides the will of the majority. Please leave a comment if you have any questions about this video. Thank you for watching.